see if that's working. Hi guys. Oh, I know Susan and Terry are watching. Hi guys. Can you let me know if you can hear me? Give me a thumbs up, people, please. I've come in early, so yeah. Hope you're well and keeping safe. I think that's coming the new saying now. Keeping safe. Hi. Good evening. Good evening. Hope you're both well. We are both well. Working our socks off. With homeschooling and work as well, so hope you guys are well. Right, okay, so I'm just going to wait for some more people to come in, and then I'm going to jump straight into it because yeah, like previously said, the time is going to be a bit short, and it's going to be an hour and a half. So right, so just give me those thumbs up, please, people. It says 2 people are watching, but I know there's more people because it says here. Okay. Hi Maggie, welcome to the group. Hi Sally, from Scotland. Is it cold? As we've had mild weather today. Wet, but mild. Right. So today is going to be yeah, it says 2 people watching, doesn't it, Michael, up there? There's more watching. Yeah, oh, it's gone up now. Right, okay. Don't stress. Right, okay, so today we're carrying on from the 2-zip bag tutorial. So we're on the 2nd stage. Fingers crossed we'll get it finished tonight. I'm going to see how far I can get along with it, hence why I've come in a few minutes early to say hi to everybody. Hi Dorothy. And then I'm going to get right into it. So we left off, it's been freezing here today. Whereabouts Terry and Susan. Terry, I need to speak to you. Actually, Terry, I need to speak to you about cross-stitching. Yeah, so expect a message from me in the next week or so. Yeah. Right, so I've got people watching. It won't tell me how many people are watching, so I'm just going to go straight into it. If you are coming in halfway through, you can rewind. I've set that up so you can start from the beginning. This video does stay in the group, so for those newbies, you can actually watch any video from any pattern that's been in the group. So if you are new and you can't find the patterns, if you go to file, in the file section, you'll find a series of a list of patterns that have been pre-done in the past, and there is part sew-alongs or sew-alongs to those patterns within the group. Now you can click Terry's all ears. Boink. Self Shields, where's that? Northeast, thanks. Oh, does it? Alright, okay. Oh yeah, Northeast. Okay, yeah. The coast, yeah. Right, so yeah, basically, like some Maggie who joined last night, if you go into the file section, you can print off any pattern that's been available. If you cannot print them, don't worry, message me, I can get them printed, or they come in a booklet form, and it's just a small few pounds extra for postage and to get them printed. And I can get those in the post to you. And all the templates are full size as well. Also, excuse me, I've got a froggy throat, so just bear with me. And it's not what you think it is. So yeah, just basically ask me if you can't find the video, private message me. I will find the videos for that particular pattern. However, we are going to work on a spreadsheet, which the hyperlinks, so the links to that particular video and where to find it, will be in the group hopefully in the next week or so. So we are going to work on that spreadsheet we have figured out how to do it. So, and I know someone asked me earlier on about that in the group. Right, so please may we go to the overhead camera, please, Michael. Thank you. Right, so we left off on step 32. So for those who are new to the group, we are making this bag. Let me just grab it. We are making this bag today, which is one of the bags from this pattern, which is part of the Jet Setter range that we are bringing. This is male. A lot of women, a lot of the people have been saying they can't or haven't got much to make men. So I'm adding a few men bags into this year's Pattern Fest. Right, so it's a double zip bag for those who are new, and we are trying to finish off this one today from the pattern. Right. So we are at the start of the pattern and we are on we're going into step 33. So we're actually closing up the lining from the bag today and then carrying on. So if I just put that there. So you should have, if you are sewing along with me, you should have your main body piece here and your 4 pieces of lining this side. We are going to, so if you remember where we put some markings for the centre of the actual main outer bag, we are going to match that up to the spacer, the centre spacer between the 2 zips. And we're going to match that up and just pop a clip there, and we're going to pop a clip here. Now if I just move that back, there we go. And we're going to pop a clip on this side as well. So from one side, move that back. Right. So from one side it should look like you've got 2 pieces of lining on this side, 2 pieces of lining on this side, and then your zips are in the centre of those 2 linings. And then if you flip it over, you should have your main outer bag folded like this. Right, so let's make sure that's neat. Okay, so we're going to deal with the lining first. We need to close up one of the linings. Now you'll notice here that the lining is longer on the one side. That's because it's obviously there. So you need to hold it up when you actually clip it together. So we're clipping this long edge first. Now if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm using ripstop lining. So anybody that's new, ripstop is comes in 2 weights. I'm using the 8 ounce, which is the heavier weight, and it means that it can be wiped down. Right, so I've clipped across that one. Then this one here, we need to leave a turning gap. So we're going to hold it up, match up the 2 edges, and we're only going to clip about 3 inches in, or 2.5 inches, 3 inches, about 3 inches, yeah. And then we're going to do the same on this side. Hey. Right, so on this lining piece here, we're going to sew all the way across using 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, and we are going to reverse the stitches at the start and at the end. Now on this one, I'm going to start here, reverse my stitch, and finish here and reverse my stitch, and we're doing 3/8 of a seam allowance. Then I'm going to move over to this side, start here, reverse my stitch, and go all the way to the end and reverse my stitch. We're going to leave approximately 4.5 inches in the middle, so that'll be our turning gap. Please may we go to the front view camera. Thank you. Right, so on my sewing machine I've got my walking foot on. and I've got a size 16 needle. I'm using Goodman Sew All thread as well. So I'm going to start off with the one where we sew all the way across first. Ethel? Yeah. Sorry, I'm just talking to the door. Can you just come here for a minute, please?
Why me?
Because I need this foot pedal moving. Sorry. Just push it this way.
It's heavy.
I know. It's heavy. It's plastic. Right, thank you, Ethel. Cheers. Right, I've just reversed my stitch at the start and I'm going all the way across. And then I'm just going to reverse my stitch at the end, just by a few stitches. I'm using a stitch length 2.4, and then I'm going to go over to the other side of the lining and then just sew the two sides, not the centre. Do you have a new chair, Becky? No, right, so I think I've broken the pink and white one because it's got so creaky.
It's rubbish anyway.
Yeah, it's rubbish anyway. Okay, Michael, it's rubbish anyway. That's me told. So, no, this is my old computer chair. This has got a better lumbar support anyway. So, the other one's on my computer. Even though my husband won't sit in it, he has his director chair that he sits in, which is very squeaky as well. So no, we haven't got rid of it. It's just behind the camera at the moment. But I tend not to sit at the computer for as long as I sit at the sewing machine. So I use this one now for my sewing machine. Also, I was noticing because it's the winter. I don't know if many of you know I have a back problem and I was crouching over, wasn't I? And after changing my chair, a few days later, it basically made my back straighter because this one's got a bit of a support at the bottom for my back. So yeah, it's a nice pink and white chair, but it doesn't support my back as well for a larger lady.
Well, it's not made well anyway.
No, alright, Michael Frost.
You've got it because it's pink.
Ginge. We do love each other, really. Don't tell the authorities. Hi, Princess. Right, please may we go to the overhead camera. Right, I've sewed those. What you will notice is that the one side is always going to be slightly baggier. Perfect example is here. So this one side is always going to be a bit baggier. Don't worry, that's perfectly normal. Don't stress over it. Right, so the next thing we need to do is start making the sides of the outer body. So I'm going to keep those clips in for now. And what I'm going to do is flip this side over first and then clip this main outer body part here. And then I'm going to do the same on this side here as well. Then I'm just going to flip the lining back over and then move over to these two parts here. Right, so we're going to sew these these bits here first. So what we have to do is stop where the zip actually starts. So you're going to sew as close as you can to where this lining is. So if I bring it up to the camera. So as close as you can get to where that fold area is of that lining. So we're going to sew 3/8 of an inch. Honey, just managed to get in. Oh, Pauline, don't worry. I know you're busy working, so yeah, don't worry, hon. Right, so we're going to sew 3/8 of an inch from this edge in. And we're going to sew as close as we can up to here. And you're going to reverse your stitch. Then you're going to flip the lining over and sew from here and go to where this folded edge is of this lining here, and you're going to reverse the stitches at the start and at the end. What you're not going to do is sew over this zip area and this zip area. We need to leave those free at the moment, and then you're going to do the same with this side and this side as well. So once I've sewn them, I'll put it up to the camera and show you exactly what I've done. Please may we go to the front view. Thank you very much. So I'm keeping my stitch length at 2.4. I'm just going to bring that closer. And I'm going to go as far as my foot will let me when it comes to by that zip area. And I'm using 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Make sure you reverse your stitch at the start and at the end of each side. There you go. So I'm going to flip that lining over. Going to move that clip from the centre because it's going to get underneath my foot. You heard the little one singing. Oh, that's so funny. Hi Wendy. Wendy says hi Ninja. He's waving. Can't wait to start this bag. Yeah, Dawn, your pattern is definitely in the post. I think it's your pattern that you were waiting for. It was, wasn't it? Yeah, I think it was. I'm just going to move over to the next bit. Glad I made this live because I'm not sure I wouldn't manage this part without you. Yeah, Louise, it took me ages to figure out myself because you should have seen the first mock-up. Oh my god. It wasn't until, I must admit, I did take an old makeup bag apart in the end. No, because I was putting something in the centre, like 2 pieces in the centre, and I thought, oh, it's not sitting right, it's not how it's looking up here. So I knew I had one from a gift set from a Boots Christmas gift set, and it is old, so I literally unpicked it, and I couldn't stop kicking myself how it was done afterwards. So yeah. Right, so I'm just going to do the last one, and hopefully my husband will be back because it's just ran off. If not, I'll have to get up.
I can do it.
Do you want to do it, Ethel?
I don't know how to.
Don't know how to. Right, I can't imagine you two ever having... no, we don't. Princess, we don't. We like big kids. No, literally our big kids. And Michael's the worst. I can say that because it's not in the room. Come back, Ninja. Come back, Ninja, they're saying. Elliot, turn it off. So sorry about this. Hang on. I think he's sorting out the little one.
No, he's in the toilet.
I don't know if they heard that, but come on, Frosty, please.
Go away, Becky.
Alright, okay. Yeah, okay. Still looking for the fabric for the bag for my son. It needs to be... Yeah, so, Sally, why don't you get some canvas? Not duck canvas, but canvas is very durable. Can we go to the overhead, please, Michael? He's back. Back in the house. You're always in the house. Right, so if I pull this back, as you can see, we are still not sewn in that gap area there. That's what we need. So make sure you've got that gap, and that gap should go from where the two zip tabs are and where they start from the body. Okay, so what I've done is, I'm hoping that's in focus, sewn from this side. Waxed canvas is easy to sew, but waxed canvas needs body to be able to stand, so you will need to interface it somehow, but you can't interface waxed canvas, so you have to sew in interfacing, and you have to sew in fusible fleece. Leslie, obviously you're not going to make this bag out of foam, so you're going to have to sew it in somehow, hence why I said do it in canvas. And then have I got some here? Yes, buy some of this stuff. So it's waterproof spray, and it's called, the posh brand is called Scotchgard, and it's the orange Scotchgard. However, this has got Scotchgard in. You can buy, I think, 7 cans or 6 cans for about a tenner from Amazon. Spray the canvas afterwards, so don't use wax canvas, use normal canvas, cotton canvas, and then spray it afterwards. Means that it gives it a wax finish, and then it obviously will be waterproof and so practical. And this is what I will be doing with this afterwards anyway. So that's that. Right, so I've sewn it all the way up to this point here, so I'm hoping you can see this because it's pink, it might not show, but I've sewn it all the way up to this point here and reversed my stitch, and I've done that on all 4 sides. So that's on that side and that side, and that side there. You're welcome, Leslie. Might give the wax canvas a bloom in Facebook. I had to troll through. Yeah, I can't. I know notifications is driving me nuts as well, Lynn. So I really am trying to find what's gone wrong. I'm so sorry about that. Kate, yeah, you can use Eau de Cloth, Eau de Coat, sorry, I always call it Eau de Cloth, Eau de Coat. So if you're going to use Eau de Coat, do your fabric first before you sew it together. Put the stuff on first before you actually sew it. Becky, can you spray normal cotton fabric? Yes, you can. So if, for instance, you're making this bag and you want to use this Scotchgard, you need to spray it lightly first, let it dry for about 24 hours, then spray it again. But then I go in on a 3rd time, like doing another light one. So basically for 3 days I can't use that bag at all, but I know it's waterproofed at the end of it, and the water does run off. I've had it underneath taps before and it does run off, as long as you do it a few times, more than 2. A few is free, isn't it? A couple's 2 is free. Yeah, yeah. Right, okay, back to it. Right, okay, right. So if I put that to one side, and we're going to move over to Michael. Please may pass this over. The whole thingy.
Give me the iron. Give me the iron and the pressing rod. Oh no, thank you.
Right, okay, so we need to make the tabs on the end. So that's these little bits that stick out here. So it means that we can hold it while we're doing the zip up and zip closed. Open and close it, sorry. So the tabs have got both interfacing on. I've just used the medium weight interfacing, and I've not used woven on these because obviously it's just tabs. I'm going to bring the two long sides into the centre on the wrong side. Okay. And give them a really good press. So I'm going to go this way. Okay, and I'm just going to do this one as well. Excuse me. Right, okay. So, just going to pop that there for now. Be careful of the iron, please, Michael. I don't want you to scald yourself. Right, okay, so I'm going to fold those in half. And then I'm just going to sew 1/8 of an inch away down the three sides, including the folded side, and reverse my stitches. And I'm going to do that for both of them. Please may we go to the front view for camera, please, Michael. Right, so I'm using a stitch length number 3 for this because it's top stitching, and I will reverse my stitches at the start and at the end. And I am going to chain stitch these together. Just means that it won't bulk up at the start. Please may we go to the overhead, please, Michael. Thank you. Right, so basically I've just sewn all the way around apart from the raw edge because that's going to be hidden in the seam anyway, and I've done that for both. Right, so the page that we are on is, we're on step 40 now. I had to think what step we were on. So you need to go in to your zips, which through your lining, and open up the zips halfway. So I'm just going to get my fingers in as much as I can. Right, so you're going to just get inside and open those zips up halfway in both of those zips. You're not going to open them up fully. So the next thing you're going to do is work out which way your zips are opening. So mine are opening that way. So your tabs need to go in the bit where they are open. So this side of my zip is open, and same with that zip as well. We are not working with this side. This is the side the handle will go on. We need to put these on the opposite side. So we're going to go through the zip part here. You're going to turn this around, and the raw edge is going to go through that zip into the outer side of the bag, and you're going to bring that through to there. Now this should be right in line where that zip tab is. So you've got the zip tab here from the end of the zip, and we're going to pop that there. I'm going to pop a clip on that. We're going to do the same with the other one. So we're going to go right in. And fish for that other tab. So my tab is there, the tab that I've just fed in. My actual end of zip tab is there, so it's practically in the centre. And we're just going to pop a clip. So the first thing I'm going to do is move those clips over a bit. Right, so this part in the centre here, so not these two parts here, we are just going to sew 3/8 of an inch over on just this section here, so your both lining pieces are open. And we're going to do the same here as well. So I'll just jump on to do that. Please may I go to the front view, please, sorry. I might have to take that one clip out. And I'm using a stitch length, just number 2.4. And you're going to be only sewing about 3/4 of an inch. Make sure you reverse your stitch at the start and at the end. And you're going to do the same on the other side. I will show you close up what I'm actually doing. Just going to pop that clip back in. It's to make sure that centre space bar in between the two zips is in the correct position before we sew any further. Please may we go to the overhead. Sorry. Stop saying sorry. Okay, so I've only sewed between this row of stitches here and this row of stitches here, and basically reverse my stitches. I've done that on both sides there. Now I'm just going to move those clips, pop that clip back on, but that's now only catching where the lining, where the inside of the lining is. So it's that bit there. We're going to do this one as well. Okay. So the next thing you're going to do is pull this back, and you're just going to run about 3 or 4 stitches over this section here. So that's just this section here, and we're just going to base stitch both of those tabs into place so we can get rid of these clips for the next step. So it can be 1/4 of an inch away. I don't mention this in the pattern because this is a step that I basically, after I wrote all the steps and sent off the pattern, I redid a bag, and I worked out it's best if we get rid of these clips now. So you might want to make a note. You might want to make a note in your pattern round about step 40 just to watch the video and see what Becky does in this area. So if we go to the front view camera, please, Michael. So I'm only stitching in that section there, not the lining or anything. And we want at least 2 or 3 stitches. It can be like 1/4 of an inch away, but no more than 3/8 of an inch, because that's obviously your seam allowance. So that's the first one done. And go into the second one. Here's where we go to the Are You Challenge Us with the pattern. I love all the different no, it's just the fact that I basically was challenging myself with the clips at one point, and I was wrestling the bag at one point. Let me just go back there, so I've just had the sense to put the laptop on. Yeah, see, on the desktop the notifications come up, but on my phone or portable devices it doesn't come up, so there is something definitely wrong. Let me just double check. Right, okay. So the next thing we're going to do is work with the lining part here. So we are working with the centre, and we are going to open up those centre seams on the one lining to start off with. Obviously, if you use cotton, you can actually go ahead and press that. I've used ripstop, which you shouldn't use an iron on because obviously it's plastic. Right, so where we've just popped those stitches on for that that actual tab, what we're going to do is bring these 2 centre pieces, and we're going to bring those down to where that tab is. So that centre should meet where that zip tab is there. I'm hoping you saw that. Yeah, so that's the zip tab here. We're going to bring that centre and pop a clip on that bit there. We're going to do the other side. We're going to work on this side first and then go over to that side, because then it means that I can repeat myself and means that you guys will definitely catch it either the first time or second time. Okay, so if you have got woven fabric for your lining, you might want to just go to the iron and give this a good press. I'm going to give it a really good finger press to get that dominant crease. Sorry if you don't like the noise of that, I don't. Okay. Yeah, it is like that, isn't it? I'm just making sure. Yeah, okay, I'm on the right track. Right. Then, what I'm going to do now is move over to pins, and I know you guys don't like pins, but you will need to pin the lining part because it can get fiddly, and when you're moving it around on your sewing machine on the later stages, the clips will ping off, especially if you use ripstop. So unless you've got a bulky part attached to it, so like here I'm keeping the clip on because the bulky part is attached to it. So you're going to get your pin and you're going to pin the lining down the 2 sides, and as you can see it's not attached, and you're going to do the same with this side as well. Now you're probably getting the idea, this is kind of going to repeat what we did here, and we're going to sew up to a certain point. And I'm just going to do this side here as well. Now if you're wanting ripstop, the ripstop that I have used is in the previous video for this wash bag. So it's from eBay for those who live in the UK. I think it was £4 a metre this was. I got quite a few different colours while I was at it. Right, okay. I'm just gonna... Right, so you guessed it, we're going to go back to the sewing machine. We are going to fold, go from this side. I'm going to fold this over and I'm going to sew from here to here. Make sure I reverse my stitch. Now if you're like my machine, it struggles a bit when it comes to getting here where the presser foot's going up at an angle. So I always have to use the bulky seam made behind to make sure this the presser foot is level. So it means it finishes quite close to where this seam is. And you're going to do the same with this side. Then we are going to flip this over and do the same with this side. We are not going to sew over where those two clips are, but you might need to take the clips out at one point because obviously presser foot won't go that far. So please may we go to the front view. So he's eating the jam dodger, jammy dodger, jam dodger, jammy dodger, jammy dodger. Right, and he's going for seconds. Oh, I have fed them. Right, okay, so I'm using a stitch length 2.4 and a seam length 3/8 of an inch. And making sure I reverse my stitch at the start and at the end. Oh, that's not clipped in. We have a problem. There you go. It's alright, my presser foot was not clipped in properly. It must have come out. There you go. Try your hardest not to sew over the pins. How to stay. Well, he can eat like a horse and he doesn't put the weight on. Do you, Michael? You don't put weight on, do you? Yeah, you are since lockdown because you're not doing all that walking to work and that. Right, so I'm just sewing as close as I can to where that part is. Now my foot is going up at an angle, so I'm going to pop this behind the presser foot. And now if you don't have a bulky seam made, I do sell them, but I'm not plugging my sewing on them. You can fold up a piece of cardboard. It's not as effective, but it does work. Before they were designed, people used to fold up stuff behind it. So right, so done that side. So because I'm starting off where the bulky part is, I'm going to pop the seam made at the front to level it off, and I'm using the thicker side of the bulky seam made. Make sure you reverse those stitches. Okay. And then we're going to repeat the other two sides. So I've now got those two pieces of lining sewn up to the centre points there, and we've got that gap in the centre at the moment. So I'm going to go over to this side, take that clip out for now, And then do the other side as well. Just make sure my lining is in the centre still. Okay, please may we go to the overhead camera, please, Michael. Thank you very much. Hey, I've got a pin that's gone down there. There you go. Right, okay. So I've removed those clips and they've kept in the centre. That's all you're trying to do, is make sure that centre of that lining is staying in the centre of this part here. Okay, so as you can see, there's a gap in the centre there which hasn't been sewn on both sides. What we're going to do is now sew over those bits, matching up where the two parts is where you finished up to. And then basically what will happen is this will come your lining, but it will be attached in the centre here and here to your outer body. That's the only places where the lining will be attached to the outer body, apart from where the zip is, obviously. So I'm just going to pop those clips back in. Pauline, that's me. Little and large. I'm little and large. Oh. Sorry, I'm just gonna have a drink. Right, so please may we go to the front view camera, please, Michael, first. Okay. They're all laughing. Right, okay, so I'm starting off where that one sewn line is to match up to the other sewn line. Sorry about the little patters of feet, we've got a little one in the kitchen area, so just bear with us. Right, so I'm going to reverse my stitch at the start and at the end. And it's about an inch you're sewing, that's all. And you're going to do that on both ends here. Right, please may we go to the overhead and I'll show. Right, okay. So I've sewn over those two edges there, so that means that lining is near enough complete, apart from we need to put the squares in. However, it's caught there. That's fine. If it catches a little bit, don't worry. Don't have a don't unpick it, because if you've used ripstop, it could fray it. So if it's caught that much, you will get away with it. But if it's quite a lot caught, so if quite a lot of it's caught like that, please unpick it and resew again. That's okay, Amanda. You can always watch this on catch up. Curtis has always got the munches. Right, okay, so I'm moving over to this side. I'm going to repeat exactly the same process. So this is where, if you missed it the first time, that's fine. So we're going to open this up. Get this centre seam open. And press it with your iron if you can, or finger press it. And you're going to match up that centre half, that centre seam to this zip tab here. And at this point, you should have done it on this one as well, but that's fine. Make sure your zips are halfway open on both of them, because it will help you when we move it around. It means that you can get it into the shape that you want it to, and plus you need the one side that's got the turning gap open anyway. So I'm matching up that other centre half to that tab. Pop a clip in it to hold it into place. I'm gonna clip this side because this is doing my Sweden already. That's the side we've just done, but it's flapping around like me on a fair ride. Flap, flap, flap. I'm just going to finger press this. Okay, and once again, just going to pin down those sides. We're only pinning the lining, not the outer body area. And do the same with this one here as well. Then I'm going to flip it around and just repeat the same process. I need to sneeze. I'm trying to concentrate. Yeah, please. Okay. Thank you very much. Oh. Right, okay. So once again, I'm going to just sew those bits on the lining and those bits on the lining. Please may we go to the front view. Okay. And I'm going to sew as close as I can get to the actual zip part, and obviously I'm going to use my bulky seam aid. I'm going to move that clip in the centre because I've got this under my foot. Yeah, you could see my nose going, couldn't you? Twitching like a rabbit. Okay. Okay, and then I'm just gonna flip it over and do this side. So who else is homeschooling? Has anybody actually looked at the maths that the kids do? Oh my god. Could have cried. I don't understand Curtis's. Let alone Ellie's. I'm dyslexic, I don't do maths. I can't remember who I saw on Facebook. There was 6 kids with different devices of watching their lessons, and they all had headphones on, and it did look like a call centre. I'm sorry, but it really did look like a call centre. It's so funny. Let's move that clip. Okay, and I'm just going over to the other side, which is that one. Now if you want to, and if you've got a large throat space, you can go in that way. I don't understand why they have to revert the wheel with the mouse. What? Oh, right, yeah. But I'm going to go in from this side, because then it shows that you can use your bulky C-Made. Just move out. Right, please may we go to the overhead camera, please, Michael. Let's get rid of those. Right, can't remember this measurement, so just bear with me. 1 3/4 and 1 3/4. Right, okay. So the next thing we need to do is just quickly sew over those parts there. I'm just going to do that quickly off camera now because it won't take me a few seconds. Right, so I've done sewn over those two. Right, so the next thing we need to do is do the boxy corners. So you're going to need a marking tool and a measuring tool. So I've got no clips in. I've made sure I've sewn everything before I go any further. So that's now a completed seam. There's no gaps. And the same on that side as well. There's no gaps. Right, so we're going to push the lining out of the way first. We're going to work on the outer body. So you're going to measure 1 3/4 boxes. 1 3/4. Now this, mine is quite deep. Mine is approximately 3 3/4 inches tall. Now it's up to you how tall you actually want this and how wide you want this. So if you did 1.5 inches, this will be if my maths is right, about 3 inches and a quarter tall, and it will be slightly higher rather than wider. So this section, I don't mention this in the pattern, but this section is totally up to you what size you do, but it will matter to a certain point. So I would say don't go anything lower than 1 inch, but don't go any higher than what I've already set, so that's 1 3/4 inches. I'm still going to go for 1 3/4 because it means that I can fit quite a bit into the actual bag, because this one is for me. So 1 3/4. So I'm measuring, just going to pop a clip in that so it doesn't fling back. Okay. So I'm lining up on a line at the bottom where the fold is, and then I'm lining this edge up to the 3/4, 1 3/4 edge here, and I'm just going to draw around that. And you're going to do that for all 4 outer squares, corners. And then flip that lining over and repeat the same on this side. Let's clip that there. The same on this side as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut on those lines there, but then I'm going to pop a clip here right where those top bits are, because it will start coming undone on these parts here where those lines are. So you are going to have to go back to your sewing machine once we've cut these squares out to reverse over that stitch line, just to make sure it doesn't come undone when we put the bag together, because there's no going back after a certain point. So I am going to pop a clip in either side. My lining is caught in my sewn line, so don't worry about it. It does look shorter on that side than that side, but it's only because my lining has caught, but I'm not really bothered about that, to be fair. So I'm going to get a pair of scissors. Remember, you cut in fleece, so you're going to use not your fabric scissors, but a blunter, sharper pair. Well, a blunter part, sharper pair is ever a thing. Just a pair of scissors that you use with your fleece and foam. Okay. Now, I won't chuck that, because if you've got a magnetic snap in another bag, you can use that on the back of the magnetic snap and pop the washer over. So don't chuck those away, because those come in handy to stabilise a magnetic snap area. Okay, and then I'm just going to do the other side as well. That's okay, Maureen. Hope you got it settled. Is this the faux leather we were talking about? Right, so I've got that bit off. So you should have 4 squares at this point. Like I said, don't chuck them because they will come in handy. Right, so like I said, we're going to have to go back and just run 3 or 4 stitches over a few times, and make sure you sew on that sewn line. And you're going to do that for all 4 sides. It's only those 4 edges there. Please may we go to the front view camera. So I'm just going to quickly do that. I'm leaving my stitch length at 2.4. It's just to stop that seam coming undone at that later stage. And make sure you are sewing on that sewn line that you've already created. Okay, please may we go to the overhead camera, please, Michael. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Stop saying sorry, it's my job. Right, okay, so we've done that. Now we're going to move over to the lining part. So I'm going to tuck that bit under, twist it round. Now I know this won't mark this ripstop, so I'm going to get just a normal biro. We're on the wrong side anyway, so. And whatever measurement you used on these squares are the same measurements you use on the actual lining squares as well. So that's 1 3/4 for me. And you're going to do that for all, sorry about that noise if you can hear it, guys. I'm going to do that for all 8 squares this time. And yes, we're going to repeat the same. Keep forgetting about that bit. We're going to repeat the same. Pop the clip on at the ends, just after you've done the drawn lines. I like the colour of the ripstop line. I don't think you want me to let you know that it's actually from eBay. the link is in the video that was last week. Yeah, but to be fair, it came within 4 days, and it was £3.99 a metre, £4.99 a metre. I actually bought quite a few different colours, to be fair, so. Because I know you only use a small amount. I know you only use a small amount of this ripstop in this bag. However, the pattern next, so not these bags, but the rucksack with the camera compartment at the bottom and the other rucksack has got ripstop as the lining as well, guys. So I'm just warning you. I'm actually using ripstop in that because it means your camera equipment is padded. Trust me, I've come up with a crazy idea underneath. So yeah, I actually really like the camera bag and the rucksack part as well. So. Right, so I've just moved over to the next part of the lining. When did you order yours, Dawn? I know I ordered mine at the weekend, at one of the weekends, and they all came. However, I did order some more things from that shop, because you can click on the shop on eBay, can't you? I always do that. If I know I was actually sewing quite a bit, and I like ordering quite a bit from each shop, so it means the postage is smaller. Right, so once again I'm just going to cut away those squares. Like so. I'm going to do all of those 8 squares. Michael, the sun's behind you. What does he want? Can I have an apple? Oh my god! Yes, you know where they are. They're in the fridge. I have fed them. Honestly, guys, I do feed them.
Yes.
Yes. Ethel, do you want an apple? No. Do you want an orange, Ethel? No, she doesn't like oranges, if I remember right. Did you want one? I know they're tiny apples, aren't they? They are small apples. I know, she's laughing. And I'm just going to repeat it on this side as well. Can I have an apple, please? I can't believe how much these kids eat. I think the fabric's coming tomorrow. Haven't heard from the Ripstop. Yeah, well, I think it's because I ordered quite a large amount of stuff from them, so, and it was posted by courier, so rather than Royal Mail. Okay, get in there, last 2. Okay, so once again you're going to have to go over those seams by a couple of stitches, reversing them. I'm going to chuck those away because they won't stabilise magnetic snaps or anything. And make sure you reverse the stitches, because as you can see that's already coming apart. As you can see, it's already coming apart, so you need to basically just go over that sewn line. So I'm just going to go to the front view camera, if that's alright, Michael, please. Yes. And just sew over that, and make sure it's only the lining that you're sewing over, not the outer bag. I'm always used to kids. Oh, the dogs. Oh no, I mean real kids. Oh, yeah, they have hollow legs. Like Curtis is eating loads and he doesn't put the weight on. Oh look, he follows his father. Not in height though. Stop laughing.
It's true.
I know he's short. Leave him alone. He's got a growth impediment. I'm just going to do the other few seams on this side. It isn't as scary as what people were saying. They actually did get the pattern, and they printed off or brought the pattern from me and said the lining part looks really scary. It isn't. It's just because it's in several sections. It isn't that scary. But just make sure you re-sew these seams up, because it's a nightmare to try and sew together once you've started doing the boxy corners. Okay. I'm going to stay on for as long as I can to get this finished, this bag, because I want this bag finished tonight. Right, okay, so please may we go to the overhead, because I was about to just talk people through it and we went on this camera. Thank you. Right, so I've just sewn those. So the next thing we need to work out is which side has got these two bits. So remember those two little bits that we put in? These bits? We need to find those. So we need to go through one of the corners and feel. So mine's on this side, so I need to work on the opposite side first. So what I'm going to do is open up those boxy corners and push it down. I'm going to get the webbing. Now, so if you're like me on the pattern, I had some nice selvage from the fabric. So I basically neatened off the two edges and then sewed it on. I'm not going to on this one, but if you are going to do that, your selvage that will be on the webbing, do you have to cut the corners or can you fold them in? No, you really do have to cut the corners, Linda, on this, because there'll be so much bulk. I understand where you're coming from, because you have got 8 corners in the lining and you have got 4 corners on the outer. You really do need to cut the squares out, Linda. I know what you're talking about. On a normal box pouch with one zip, you will fold the corners and then sew over them and then cut away and then put bias binding on. Not in this case, unfortunately, sorry. Right, so if you are putting the bias, the selvage, sewing the selvage on, you need to flip that over so you've got the wrong side of the strip of webbing. And what we're going to do is poke it inside here. And feel through this side, and we need it to come out this side for now. So it comes out this side. I have got webbing. I've got this cotton webbing in stock, Dawn, and it's quite strong. When I say strong, the dye, some of the dyes, the coloured dyes, add texture and strength to the actual, but this is cotton, so it's nice and durable. So I've got quite a few colours in stock, and I have got more coming in stock. Right, so we're going to work this side first. The webbing needs to go raw edge to raw edge, but the webbing needs to be in the centre of this open seam here, and I'm just going to pop a clip in that. Okay, then we're going to move this lining out the way, because it will get in the way, and we're going to bring those corners together, those two little sides together, and clip. And I'm going to clip down those edges there. I'm going to go to this side here I'm going to poke that inside so it will make this U shape here, and repeat the same process. Open up that seam, pop that into the centre of that seam, clip that into place first. My arthritis is really playing up today, and trying to open up clips is a nightmare. Couldn't even open up a jar earlier on, or a bottle of pop. Okay, and then going to bring those two seams up together and pop some clips on. Right, so I'm going to sew over those two in a minute. I'm going to repeat the same process on this side, but without the webbing this time. So I'm going to open up that seam, bring those two up together, and clip those edges together. Oops. Have you come off there? No. Must have been attached. And then I'm going to do the same with this one as well. Move that lining out of the way. Open up that seam. Make sure I had a crease inside. I could feel it here. So get your finger up inside and stroke. And I know that sounds very rude, but I do apologise. But stroke that seam, that crease out, so it's neat and you don't have any creases in those corners. There you go. A new princess will laugh at that. Right, okay. Okay, so I'm going to sew 3/8 of an inch, 3/8 of an inch away from the edge on all four sides of those corners. You will have to move the lining out the way. When are you doing the pizza? Right, okay. So can we go to the front view camera please, Michael? So, homeschooling. So normally because obviously most of you know the kids don't live here permanently, they live with their mom in the week, and we have them at the weekends or at holidays and stuff like that. So normally in the week when they're at school, I kick Michael's office into the Ellie's room because she's got a nice desk area. However, because we've got both kids and they're both schooling and they're both in different schools because of Curtis's autistic, so he has to go to a specialist school. They're actually having their classes in their own rooms. However, Michael's had to move his office, he's smiling, in my area, and you can't actually see it because have you moved it over? No, but there's a pile there, there's a laptop there, and there's like computer screens and keyboards there. So he is having to work in this area, so hence why I can't do any pre-recorded stuff at the moment, because normally I close the door and Michael's hidden away. He's constantly on the phone because he works for a bank. He is constantly talking to customers, and unfortunately he chucks numbers around like anything, being working for a bank and being dyslexic, and my main problem is numbers with dyslexia. So no. So to answer that question, Dawn, I haven't got a clue. However, I could do a blog post with step-by-step instructions and photos, and then basically the video will come in pre-course. I'm working on the unicorn thing that I posted the other week at the moment as well. So I do apologise, all pre-recorded YouTube is on hold at the moment, unfortunately. Sewing Street. I'm actually doing a pre-recording for Sewing Street, and they're having to use some of my old YouTube stuff for it. It's that bad, which I don't mind because I said they just want my bags on anyway. So right, so I'm sewing 3/8 of an inch away from the edge and using a stitch length 2.4. It is coming, Dawn. I promise it is coming. Trust me, it is coming. Just everything is. Right, so I'm just going to reverse my stitch at the start and at the end. Make sure that seam to seam is open up, and keep it open up because it will make it a nice, better finish. Like when I asked the question, oh, the lives will only be about an hour and a half to just over an hour and a half. But I'll do one extra. And people were saying, oh, we don't need you to do the lives if it means that you're taken away from your family time and stuff like that. No, trust me, it's an escape. Yes, Ellie, I do love you. Okay. People are laughing at me saying, yes, Ellie, I do love you. I have watched the Sewing Street for the past 2 days and I've got into habit again. Yeah, to be fair, I watch it at night, like around about 9 o'clock onwards, because I watch it on the computer while Michael goes on the Xbox. And I must admit, I've actually ordered a few things the last few days. Shh, he didn't hear. Right, so I'm sewing over where the webbing is now. So where the webbing sits on both of those two seams, I am going to reverse my stitches a few times in the centre, just because you hold it, and if you're got quite a lot of makeup like me or toiletries, it just means that the handle's a bit more robust. And the last one. Right, please Mary, go to the overhead camera, please. Right, so you'll see the main bag is already started to get its shape. So we're going to work on the lining pieces now. So the first thing I tend to do is right, so Dawn, I know the background of the walking foot because I am really good friends with Sally Ann. Is that our kid falling then? Michael, can you go and have a look, please? Curtis is climbing again. Yeah, so the walking foot for that particular machine that they had ready has gone missing. They think one of the guest designers has walked away with it, and thinking that it is theirs, because technically you are, through COVID, you are meant to actually bring in your own equipment at the moment, apart from the machines. Okay, so I'm just going to get in there and open up that zip on this side here. Yeah, John Scott's got Lisa Lamb and Jenny Jackson, and they are collaborating together tomorrow with their first pattern together. I knew that was coming because I said to Jenny and Lisa that they need to join together, because I've started the So Crazy Girls. I need to put something together at least. Right, so I'm going to revert back to my pins. Okay, and I'm pinning just the lining. and I'm just doing those. It should be fun. I do feel sorry for John Scott though. I really do with those two. Right, I'm just pinning the lining boxes together now. So I'm working on this side first because the zip is open. Now, these boxy corners in the lining won't be perfect. I'm putting that out there now. So don't worry if they aren't perfect, because mine's going to be slightly off there. As long as you get majority of the lining sewn together properly, then that's fine. It's no problem. Watch out, Loki as my keyboard. Loki's that cat, Ellie, I keep showing you.
Aww,
Yeah. Aww.
it's adorable.
It is, it's so fluffy.
I'm gonna lick it.
Okay, and doing this one. Here, give him as good as, yeah, I think you will. Okay, and this side. Now it looks a mess at the moment. Don't stress, it's meant to look a mess. Got to go now, Becky. Thanks. No, you're welcome. Good night, Pauline. Right, and then obviously get your little fingers through. Well, this is the lining that is not open. Right, okay. So you need to get your little fingers through that gap, one of the gaps, and open up as much as you can of the zip. Yeah, I can pull it apart there. That's fine. And then just do that one as well. Do those 4 corners on this side of the lining as well. Ellie, do you want to go and brush your teeth, please? Thank you. Oops, where have you come from? There. Still got a bit of time, just making sure you guys are sorted before bedtime. Okay. And then the last 2 squares. Sorry, this is the boring bit, but it needs to be done. Same with this side. First bit. Looks like a football at the moment, or the shape of a rugby ball. Okay, and last pin. Okay, please remember go to the front view, please, Michael. Right, so I'm just going to sew over those bits there. Now, you're going to have to smoosh the bag over as much as you can to get the walking foot over. Now, because I've got a wide walking foot, I'm going to move my needle closer to the bag, so closer to this way. So I'm just going to do that. Just means that my walking foot's not going over the bulky part of the bag, the outer part. So you've got to estimate your seam allowance if you have moved your needle. I'm going for an average 1/2 inch because obviously some of my corners weren't matching up properly. Like I say, it's not really a bad thing if the corners are not matching up properly on the lining, because it is only a lining, and it's the corners and you can't really see them. So that's one side. Flatten that out a bit. Move over. Also, doing half an inch seam allowance means that you are taking away a bit of the bagginess of the lining bags, the lining pockets parts. Now, because I've used ripstop, I think in the pattern I tell you to trim back the excess of the seams. Because I've used ripstop, I'm not going to trim back any excess. I'm going to leave them as the seams when I put it in the bag, when I poke the lining back inside the bag. Because ripstop has got a tendency to rip over years, but not if you've sewn it correctly. But I just don't want to risk it, to be fair. And to be fair, it's not bulky at all, so. So that's those 4 boxy corners done. Just the other side to do. Start off this side. Watch your fingers because they are quite close to the needle. Coming to the last bits. And last one. Once you've made one, you'll be banging them out for Christmas. I'm talking about Christmas presents already. We've only just finished Christmas. Okay, please may we go to the overhead for the last time. Right, so before you go any further, make sure that's all sewn together, which they are on that side. Yes, 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 yes. Right, so find that turning gap. You're going right in. This is my favourite bit. That's where you find all your mistakes. Right, get a poker tool, chopstick, those freebies, you know, from the Chinese, and poke out those corners, and that's on all the bag, inside and out. Right, so first off, I've just done the one that has got no turning gap in. So the first thing I'm going to do is, just before we go any further, stuff it out, like so. I got this off an eBay seller. She, I think it's it's actually not a bought fabric off a shelf. I think she designed some herself. Bought this about 2 years ago. Right, okay. So, because I've used cotton fabric, I can go ahead and press those seams if I wanted to. I'll do that afterwards, obviously, because it's taken up time. But if you have not used quilting cotton, you will have to just keep rolling it, and then overnight just pop some clips in, like so, to get that shape. If you do that overnight and then take them off in the morning, and then get a hairdryer to get rid of those clips marks, because you will do, depending on what type of fabric you use, you will have a perfectly box shape. And those marks, if you just get a hairdryer on them, keep rubbing. What I say marks, for those who are new to the group, Wonder clips actually have little teeth on them. They're only small, and if you've used like leather or faux leather, I normally say don't leave clips in overnight. However, if you use a hairdryer on strong heat and blast it in that area where those clips have been taken off, and you massage it, those marks will actually come out. It's just those people that don't spend enough time heating up that area, but not to the point where you're melting it. You just basically want those marks out. So I'm just going to take that stuffing out. And then I'm just going to do the same with this one. Poke out those corners. Same again with this side here. And then stuff it out first. Roll those corners before you close it up, because you want to make sure there is no gaps in that seam. So I'm just going to roll those corners like so. Okay, and then open it up. You're going to pull that lining out the best as you can. And you're going to either, well, now with ripstop you cannot hand sew. So you're going to fold the 2 raw edges back up inside, matching it up the best you can. Clip along. And I'm just going to run a few stitches to close that up. Like so. Curtis! Sorry. Can you go and brush your teeth, please, dude? Thank you. And I'm just going to sew across here and reverse my stitches. So I'm just going to do that off camera quickly. Oh, you've gone to... You woke up, did you, Michael? Oh, that is poor stitching, that is. Oh well, do it 1/8 of an inch away, not 1/4 of an inch away, like I've done. Oh well, this is for me anyway, so... Can we go to the overhead camera, please? Just for the last bit. Yeah. So, and then re-stuff both sides out just so it gets its shape overnight. So that's... And give it a really good press. So if you have used cotton, quilted cotton, go in and use an iron on it. I will do that after we've finished here. Like here, I've used cork, so that's actually got body to it anyway. Let me just get the bubble wrap out of that. Now if you are going to use cork, because I know a lot of you asked about cork, it has to be the thin cork that has no fleece backing, and my motto is only use a medium weight interface and don't use like don't use the G700, which is a bit thicker interfacing. But yeah, there you go. Please may we go to the front view. So yeah, that's the finished bag. I actually love this bag. I'm very buoyant oriented anyway, so this is a more me bag. But I know this could be made. They call them dop kit bags in America, and we call them shaving bags in this country. So these are great for presents for men and for what they're set out to be for when we can go back on holiday. So yeah, once again, thank you ever so much. I'm gonna jet off. Once again, thank you ever so much. And there isn't a live next week, and there is a live the following week. And we are going to be making this one, starting this one. So yeah, I like this one too. Reminds me of you know when you go to fairs and you got the arcades and you got the whack-a-moles. Dunk. I know. But yeah, we're going to be starting this one. So yeah. So we're going to be starting that one and then obviously building up to the larger one, guys. So have a lovely week and a bit off from me. If you need me, you know where I am. Drop me a message. You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome, everybody. Yeah. So thanks ever so much for joining me, and I'm sorry they are shorter than normal, but I can't help having kids, unfortunately. Right, love you guys. Please may you. See ya. Bye.